My research is in the field of political science and specifically in the field of comparative politics, with also a focus on public policy. I have a background in public policy, having done a master's in public policy. The research that I have worked with has been primarily qualitative research. So it's based on really long, intensive bouts of field work. I spent 2 years total in Brazil and Colombia doing over 150 interviews, collecting primary sources to trace out this long-term process that I'm studying of the construction of participatory institutions in Brazil and Colombia. My research explores the questions related to how individuals, everyday people, gain a voice in politics, how the state has created spaces for them to be involved in policymaking, and in particular in Latin America, which is the most unequal region in the world, and yet where you've seen a lot of really interesting innovations in creating these new opportunities for groups. So it's a very fascinating and exciting time in Latin America where you have all of these openings for new groups to be included that weren't there before. And my research also addresses issues of expanding citizenship, going beyond just your formal rights to voting, to due process, and how do you reconceive citizenship to give people a real stake in their society, and how can participation be a part of that? I would say the most memorable part of my time at the Ash Center were the lunches and the democracy seminars, where you have all of the different scholars from really quite different backgrounds coming together. And so with these democracy seminars, we would come together and discuss, we would begin by discussing events that were happening now and how to use the different analytical frameworks, the different tools of scholarship that we'd learned throughout the years to understand key issues like what's happening with Occupy Wall Street, what's happening with all the discussion about addressing inequality in the United States, protests that were breaking out in Europe during the Euro crisis, and the mass amount of social mobilization that was happening in the face of that. So we're taking these ideas that we had always learned and always talked about with our research and applying them to real life events. And that fits with the larger theme that you see in ASH, which is this commitment to bringing a lot of the tools that we've learned as academics and trying to think carefully and thoughtfully about how to deal with real problems in the real world, and how to make democracy work better for citizens and really bring a voice to people who haven't had as much of a voice.